Video of the air crash actually emerged. The video was of a low resolution, it was very grainy, it was a video taken off a video and therefore there was no audio. It led to a huge amount of conjecture, there was a lot of amplification of the pilot error theory. But now 4 days later, 4 days after that crash, there is a sense of unanimity among many experts in India across the world that a dual engine failure is likely to have been the reason why AI-171 crashed. Now, taking our attention back to the original crash video that came out, and NDTV has accessed the original organic version of the video, the native video itself. The audio that we've just played for our viewers shows very clearly the sound of what is called a Ram Air Turbine. Now, once we zoom into the aircraft right now, it's very unclear, it's a little blob, but that's what a Ram Air Turbine looks like, and it's clearly visible in the organic video that we've been able to access. Now, a Ram Air Turbine is basically this small propeller that pops out of the aircraft in the event of a catastrophic electrical failure on the aircraft or the possibility of a dual engine failure. Remember, all electrical systems on an aircraft are powered by the energy that is generated from the two engines of the 787. In this particular case, the very fact that the Ram Air Turbine deployed immediately suggests that there was some kind of a huge failure on board of electrical systems, as a result of which the pilots did not have the necessary electrical power to operate flight control systems and the many other systems on board the aircraft to aviate and to fly the aircraft safely. The fact that the Ram Air Turbine has come out suggesting a dual engine failure also provides the necessary evidence that they did not have enough altitude, they did not have enough time to take any countermeasures. Now, the Ram Air Turbine itself only deploys during emergencies, so that is something that is very clear. But in addition to that, the fact that it deployed so quickly after takeoff, despite the engines providing the aircraft enough power to actually lift off, which is a substantial amount of power, suggests that this critical failure of the two engines and the electrical systems happened just seconds after takeoff. Therefore, the Ram Air Turbine deployed, but it was simply not enough power to power all the hydraulic systems, the main systems that are available to power the aircraft out of the deadly descent that it entered into.
So what does this signify? What does this tell us about the possible reasons behind the crash? I think that is the most important question to ask. And we have Captain Sam Thomas, President of the Airline Pilots Association of India, joining us. Captain, thank you for your time on this edition of the news here on NDTV as we continue to unravel bit by bit what possibly could have happened. What is your sense and how important is this new angle that is being discussed?
Good evening, ma'am. Firstly, let's go in a chronological order from where people first said that the flaps were not selected. Then they said that the pilot forgot to pick up the gear, he picked up the flaps. Thereafter, it's a dual engine failure with Ram Air Turbine deployed. Now, what we've been suggesting all along is we've been through several air crashes and their ensuing investigations. None of the people would be able to tell you definitively as to what the exact reason is without going through the entire analysis of the DFTR. What is happening right now is a lot of experts, so-called experts, coming and very convincingly telling you flaps were not selected, pilot was not competent, and the same individual has now said that the RAT is deployed, which may or may not be true, because to definitively say that the RAT was deployed looking at this video is, I would, not bet my life on that. However, yes, we are aware that a certain amount of problems with the engines might have occurred, but there is nobody who can tell you what has caused this issue. Now, all these kind of conjecture that is happening within the experts, so-called experts group, is only spooking the public at the moment. And these reasons are being debated hotly among traveling public who are not aware of the functioning of a 787. And that leads to undesirable consequences. So once again, we appeal to everybody that do not take credence for these so-called expert advice. Yes, everybody has their designation mentioned, their credentials mentioned, not necessarily that they know anything about 787.
Yes.
So with that, we would like to sort of clarify anything that you have as a doubt and not to get into the investigation of this airplane. Our appeal is to make this a transparent process, include subject matter experts. Like you very rightly said before, that there has been a high power committee.
Yes.
Please look at the high power committee and the number of aviators in it or aviation specialists in it.
Okay, now Captain, you make a lot of important points, but for the benefit of our viewers, why don't you tell us the sequence? Now, when is this deployed? Is this launched automatically? Is this deployed manually? And what possibly then could have been the reasons behind a dual engine failure?
Ma'am, it's now again, it's an assumption. So the RAT or Ram Air Turbine can be manually deployed, or in most cases, it will deploy automatically. Now, this is one of the last defenses of the aircraft with respect to essential power. When a Ram Air Turbine deploys, it provides you with, it's connected to a generator that provides you essential power to some flight controls and some electricals. Okay, now loss of thrust on both engines is one of the reasons that a Ram Air Turbine deploys. There are three reasons. One is the hydraulic, the other complete electrical failure, other is the engine failure. So we don't know at this point as to what has led to the Ram Air Turbine being deployed. That will only come out after the analysis. Now, the pertinent point here is you've invited the NTSB, you've invited the UK authorities, but in Hindi there is a saying of "Ghar ki murgi dal barabar." That's what we are looking at and saying that when we are here, why don't you include us? Why don't you have a televised sort of inquiry where, like it happens in the US and in Europe, so that everybody comes to know what has happened and there's no scope for any kind of manipulation.